Hannah, is it true that you're pregnant now? Because what I've picked up from the rest of the family, you are.
That's right. I'm about 2 months pregnant now.
So all of that really is true?
Sorry for keeping that a secret from you. I was planning on letting you know about it once things settled down for me and the baby was looking healthy. Didn't want everyone getting all excited when we still weren't sure how things were going to turn out.
That's fine, but I'm a little bit worried now.
I'm sure everyone is worried to see how the pregnancy will go and if the baby will be healthy after giving birth to it. There are a lot of other things that have me worked up right now as well. Things like my health, eating habits, keeping stress levels down.
I'm not talking about yours or the baby's health. I'm not worried about anything that has to do with you health-wise.
What? Then what are you worried about?
I'm worried about whether your baby is going to look anything like you or not. If you really do have a grandbaby for me, and they look the same way you do, I will feel so bad for them. And that's why I'm worried now. I am praying that the baby takes more from my son's look than they do yours.
Is my face really that bad looking to you?
Well, to tell it to you straight, you're ugly. Compared to my family's beautiful traits, you have a terrible bloodline.
But up until now, you have never called me ugly at all. Back when I was engaged to your son, you were telling him how wonderful a woman he'd chosen to marry.
I would never comment on a stranger's looks before they become a part of my family. You wouldn't do that either, right? That would just be rude. You also happen to have a sense of charm to you in some cases, so I was talking more about how your wonderful attitude was then.
Is that so?
I wouldn't want to call you ugly when you've been taking such good care of my son for me. But as of right now, the only word I have for you is ugly. There is no other way for me to praise you, so there you go. I'm not going to lie to you by giving you false hopes either. That would just be simply wrong for someone in my position to do.
I see.
You happen to be a very charmful woman, but unfortunately, you are also a very ugly woman, and that really detracts from what charm you did have. And now that you don't really have any charm to talk about, what do you have, Hannah? What about you is still good enough to allow you to stay my son's wife?
He happens to still love me, the same way he always has, and that's why we're still married and we are having a baby.
The real reason my son has stayed with you this whole time is because he hasn't given any other option. He probably just married you out of fear that he'd never be able to find anyone. But I'm thinking very soon here, he's going to really regret ever proposing to you and having that baby.
I don't think that'll be the case. Ever since I met my husband, he has been the nicest man I've ever known. And he always tells me just how important I am to him.
My son is a very kind man, and he would never want to hurt another person's feelings. But I never thought he'd take things so far and have a kid with you. If that baby ends up looking like him or myself, there won't be any problem. Like myself, my son is a very attractive man.
I do think that my husband has a very good-looking face, but does he really look that much like you in terms of facial features?
What are you saying? No matter which way you look at his face, he looks just as beautiful and similar to me. Back when I was around your guys' age, I was being called a model left and right by all those that saw me.
Is that so? That's really cool, I guess.
It sure is. I was being asked out by all kinds of men, to the point it became annoying for me. But because of all that, I was able to land myself a man whose dad is the CEO of a very large company. This whole time, him and I have never had to worry about money. And unlike yourself, his face happens to be very handsome looking.
I suppose so.
The face is one of the most important parts of a person's worth. As long as your face looks good, then your life will be okay, right? And the parent is responsible for how their baby is going to look as well, whether they're ugly or beautiful. If that baby is ugly, will you be able to take responsibility for that?
Would you please stop saying things like that to me? I don't think the only thing that matters in this world is just the person's looks. No matter how our baby looks, my husband and I will love them the same way. Judy, I've had the baby. I just sent you a photo of them a second ago. Did you have a look at it yet?
I did in fact have one look at it, but I deleted that photo the moment I laid eyes on it. You've really gone and done it now, Hannah.
What? What are you talking about?
That kid's face. It looks nothing like my son's face. No matter how you look at it, they look like you more than anyone else.
Do you think so? They were only just born, so we're not really sure who they resemble more just yet.
That flat-looking nose and those tiny little eyes both come from you. Why has this happened to us? The baby has been cursed with getting only the most horrid of genes from you.
Is this really something you should be getting upset over right now? You should just be happy that the baby came out healthy and that everyone is able to see them.
But the fact that the baby is that ugly, they would have been better off being stillborn. And it's a girl as well, right? The only thing that's important to a girl is their looks. And this baby is the worst looks I've ever seen.
I think that my daughter's face is cute. I love the way she looks.
How the hell is that cute to you? You must have some very bad eyesight.
Let me just say, Judy, right now you're being a real jerk, and that comment about her being better off as a stillborn has got me a little bit distressed. I sent pictures of her to everyone else in the family, and they are all calling her cute. Maybe it's your eyesight that's bad.
How much of an idiot are you, Hannah? They are all just holding back their desires to tell you the truth. However, I'm kind. I would never lie to you about your baby. I'm telling you the truth.
Well, you keep going on about my baby like their life is over because they don't fit your definition of beautiful. I think you're being way too biased right now over a baby that was only just born today. Also, I don't really care that you keep making fun of my face, but don't you dare continue talking about my daughter that way. If you continue to call her things like ugly and worthless as she gets older, I will have to take matters into my own hands with you.
Is that right? I don't think you can do anything about me, actually.
Do you have any idea how much of a jerk you sound like right now making comments like that about people's looks? If you keep that kind of childish behavior up, I'm going to have to do something about you. I might have to really distance myself from you, Judy. I don't care that you're a part of the family. There are right things and very wrong things that can be said, and you need to learn that.
You hold it right there. Are you preaching to me right now, even though you're my daughter-in-law?
I don't give a crap about who you are to me. This is me preaching about how a woman your age should be acting, how a human should be treating another human. If you think you can just go around making fun of others like that no matter who they are, then we're going to have some real problems here.
What do you think you're doing being so rude to your mother-in-law? I knew that you ugly people tend to have the worst attitudes as well. I'm going to make you regret ever talking back to me like that. Hannah, are you still awake?
Yes, I'm still awake. What do you want from me this late at night?
Damn it. You're really still awake right now? If you're still waiting for my son to come home, you're just wasting precious sleep. He might not even make it home until later tomorrow. That guy isn't working late or anything like you might be expecting.
Judy, what are you talking about right now?
Recently, your husband has been coming home from work later and later in the night, right?
Yes. You're right about that, but you're saying that it's not due to him having to be at work?
My son is another lover now. And because of that, he will no longer come back to a house where some ugly woman and child are living.
Excuse me?
Right now, my son is more interested in a younger and far more beautiful woman. So due to that, no matter how late you stay up waiting, he will not be coming home tonight. As of right now, those two are in a very expensive hotel suite room, having the most fun a new couple could possibly have.
Why would someone like you know about all of that?
Because I'm the one that introduced that young woman to him, and within an instant, my son was all over her. That just goes to show how unhappy my son was with you.
What are you trying to do here? We still have a baby daughter at home, and you're over there trying to destroy your son's family?
I'm not destroying something that was never doing too well from the start, right? My son does not need some family that is made up of an ugly mother and her disgusting-looking daughter. My son will be making a new family with a very good-looking woman now. Then my son will be able to make a much cuter-looking child with her.
You have no right doing something like that to your son's family. Is this all because we were trying to get farther and farther away from you?
But I was not wrong about what I had brought up earlier, right? There is proof of me being correct about all of that right before our eyes. My son is in love with someone else now because she is younger and better looking than you. And all that was needed to get there was me giving him a little help. But the part that I was right about, and that allowed him to start going out with her, is her face. The face is the most important feature of any woman, and the better looking they are, the more powerful they are.
Are you saying then that my husband has completely forgotten about my daughter and I? That would mean he just left his daughter right after she was born.
Don't tell me my son is being inhumane or anything like that. It's your fault for being clueless this whole time, and bringing an ugly child like that into this world. Did you really think I would let you be my son's wife with how ugly you look?
I like to think that my husband still loves me more than you might think.
There's no way he does. You were destined to be thrown away by him, and I just helped make sure that destiny was fulfilled sooner rather than later. We will get all the divorce paperwork filled out for you, so just sign it and then leave it at that house.
I will not let you get away with this. You are a monster.
What are you going to do about it then? You need my son to pay you a settlement or something. I can make that happen for you if you want. My family would never be hurt by losing a couple grand to a woman like you. After all, my husband happens to be the brand new CEO now.
What the hell is wrong with you? Do you not feel bad at all for any of what you've done here?
I'm just doing what a mother must do for her child. I found my son a woman who is perfect for him, and he's happy because of that now.
He has been happy with me this whole time, but now you've gone and ruined that for him.
The only one that was happy in your relationship was you, because you got to be married to a handsome man, right? We were all sad here. You should be thankful we went through years of sadness, all so that you could live out your dream for a little bit. I'll pay you for the trouble later, so please, get out of my son's house.
And what about our newborn baby? Who will be her father later on?
Just go find another man to make her father. But just make sure that this next time you stay in your lane and aim for a man that's as ugly as you are. There has to be a man out there the same level of ugly as you, right? Have you still not left that house yet? Did you forget about what I told you yesterday or something? My son has a new lover who is gorgeous. Therefore, he no longer needs an ugly wife like you. Take that ugly child with you and disappear.
Would you shut the hell up, you frickin' bitch? Who the hell are you calling ugly? The only one that should be called ugly here is the bitch who would do something as disgraceful as you have.
Huh? What the hell? What makes you think you can talk to me, your mother-in-law, like that?
You're not my mother-in-law. You're my wife.
What? Is that you, Justin? Hold on a second, Hannah. Why are you trying to act like you're my husband right now?
I'm not Hannah. It's me, you idiot. I took her phone from you so I could set you straight.
It's really you, Justin?
That's right. So now, are you gonna tell me what the actual hell is going on here? You gave our son a new lover? What the hell is going on in that empty head of yours?
Why are you with her right now?
I already heard about all that happened here. Why have you done something so embarrassing and reckless to my family?
Because Hannah is not fit to be a part of our family, and her baby's face looks just like hers. I will not believe for one day that that child is our grandbaby.
Who do you think you are to say things like that? Before you start to talk bad about others' appearances, what about yours? Have you been looking in a freaking mirror lately?
What's that supposed to mean?
You seem to have a lot of confidence in that face of yours, huh? All that talk about you being so beautiful is just a thing of the past now. Do you know how fat you've gotten after 30 years, woman? You think you can start judging other people's looks when you're the size of a car?
My body weight shouldn't matter right now. After having kids, women are known to become a bit larger.
I don't think having our son had anything to do with that. I think the fact that you've been eating like a pig all the time and laying around the house, that played the biggest part in your size and looks. And all that expensive makeup you try to cover it all up with isn't working. The only reason you can't even tell any of this about yourself, though, is because you're too self-centered.
Wait, Justin, that's mean.
I never wanted to judge anyone by their appearance like what you've been doing, and I won't ever do it again, but today I had to make an exception because you were trying to act as though you're some kind of a goddess, and that you have the right to talk to my daughter-in-law and her baby without a heart. You are not in the position to talk about how others look, you woman. Before you start to complain, maybe lose a couple 100 pounds and fix those dang wrinkles first.
I am in my 60s now, so I don't have to worry about myself. When I was young, I looked amazing, and you and I have had a wonderful marriage because of it.
You think our marriage has gone well? To be honest with you, I regret making you my wife.
I do not want to hear that from a man like you, who looks like they could be in their 90s right now. Also, I'm being honest by saying that Hannah and her baby are both hard to look at.
Well, I don't understand what about those two is so hard for you to look at, especially when compared to you, they are both so cute. I'm sure our son is thinking the same thing as well.
What do you mean by that? Right now, our son is having the time of his life with a gorgeous woman. He thinks the exact same thing as me.
He is not cheating on Hannah. After all this, the whole family's starting to think that you might not be fit for us anymore.
What? What do you mean by that?
Before Hannah came into me with talking to all this, I was talking with our boy. He told me about how you had this other woman with you that you wanted to show him. Apparently that other woman is one of our friend's daughters, right? He was shocked that you would try and hook him up with another woman when you knew that he was married to Hannah.
You're kidding me. But he was so happy to see her.
He was just trying to figure out what the hell was going on there, and until he figured it out, he was faking being into her. He wanted to make sure that you didn't notice him being against going out with that woman until after he had a chance to talk to me and Hannah about you. And you never noticed a thing about his true feelings, coming all the way back to Hannah to pick on her some more, while bragging about how you just set her husband up with another woman so that he could cheat on her. The only way to describe you now is brainless.
What the hell? He had lied to me? And all of you been talking behind my back? You're all jerks, all backstabbers.
The only jerk in here is you, bitch. You would do all that just because you don't like our son's wife, getting strangers involved in all this as well. There's not a single bit of love left in me for you.
Wait, is that right? Well, I haven't felt any love for your old ass forever now, you grandpa.
Is that right? Then there's no need for me to hold back any longer. I was thinking that I had to be responsible for you until the very end since you and I are married, but I can see now that you are not my problem anymore. I'm gonna have to end things right now between you and I.
Huh? And things between you and I? And what thing?
Oh, you'll find out soon enough. I'm gonna do the same thing to you that you were doing to Hannah.
What I did to Hannah?
You seem to think it's okay to kick those that you don't like out of the family, right? Then I'll do the same thing then.
What are you talking about, Justin? You have no reason to do that to me, right? If you do that to me, then things will not be okay.
Then tell me, do you want me to pay you a settlement or something just to get you out of my life? I can do that if you want me to. A couple $1,000s won't hurt me or my family in any way. And I happen to be the brand new CEO after all.
What the?
You were saying the exact same things to Hannah before, right? Now you understand what's happening, don't you? You were asking for this to happen to yourself by trying to push this outcome onto others. I hope that there are no complaints out of you after this, considering that you would do the same thing to someone else.
I'm so sorry about what happened this time. I've learned my lesson now.
Now why are you coming to apologize to me?
I have really learned my lesson, Justin. So I would really like you to forgive me.
Are you sure you're not asking the wrong person for forgiveness right now? I think the correct way of handling things is to apologize to Hannah before me.
Of course. I'll be going to apologize to her as well. But recently, I haven't been able to get any replies from her.
That's because both our son and her have blocked your phone number.
Then why has she not even responded to me yet?
I made sure they blocked you so you never have a chance to hurt those two again.
I would never hurt them, though.
So, what do you still want from me, huh?
I want to apologize to you. Can we please make up? Please come back to the house for me. Where have you ever been these past few days?
I'm not gonna tell you, because I have no plans going back there.
Wait, Justin, you and I were so close to one another this whole time, right? I don't want things to end like this.
Oh, you don't? The divorce papers that I sent in the mail should have arrived to you today, huh? You must be freaking out now because the reality's hit ya.
Justin, I don't want to get divorced.
I'm sure you don't. Without me, the forever jobless woman who hasn't worked a day in her life wouldn't be able to live on, right?
Don't pick on me like that. I know now that I did some bad things to Hannah, but getting a divorce over something like that is messed up. Please, just rethink this whole thing.
Not happening. I cannot deal with someone like you anymore. This divorce is inevitable now. Once you've signed those papers for me, get the hell out of my house.
No way. Why do I have to be the one to leave this house?
Because you're a disgrace to wives everywhere. And I am at my limits of allowing a woman like you to be called my wife and use all of my hard-earned money. If that wasn't already enough, then you've gone and hurt both my daughter-in-law and my grandbaby. Get out of my house this week.
Wait, Justin, I can't get out of this house that quickly. What am I supposed to do if I have to leave your house?
Your husband has told me he doesn't care about you anymore.
Is that you, Hannah?
Yes.
What the hell have you done to me? Because of you, I'm going to have to lose my family and this house?
Before you start to attack me again, how about that apology you said you'd give me? The reason your husband is leaving you is because you are messed up in the head. Well, whatever though. I don't need your shallow apologies anyway. I have something I want to tell you now. Your son and I are not getting a divorce. However, you will no longer be considered my husband's mother and will never get to see our baby. So you can go ahead and just forget about any of us ever existing in your life.
What are you trying to say?
My husband is cutting ties to you. And after your husband divorces you, there will be no more money coming from any of us.
My son's going to throw me away too? I won't be able to live if that happens. What is a woman like myself supposed to do on my own?
How about starting by getting a gym membership? Besides that, I can't really help you with anything else because you mean nothing to me.
I'm sorry that I called you and your baby ugly, all right? I'll come and apologize to you on my hands and knees if you want. Just forgive me. Tell my husband and son to rethink all of this, please.
I told you I didn't want your shallow apologies, especially when you're only apologizing to benefit yourself. I've had enough of your self-centered butt.
I need you to forgive me though, or else I won't be able to live on. My whole life I've been so happy, and this is how it has to end? I will not allow my life to end in sadness.
Well, you can be thankful that we all allowed you to live out your dream of being married to a CEO's son, right? It'll only be the last bit of your life that's unpleasant for you before you fade from this world. Now, would you please get the hell out of Justin's house so that he can return home?
Where am I supposed to go after that, though? I have nowhere else to go, and I won't be able to live out there. You're all being terrible to me. What am I supposed to do?
Would you stop crying already? I'm having a hard time trying to figure out if you're some overfed, fat and ugly baby or just an old and fat hat. If you really want to know what you could do next, how about finding yourself a new man? You'll have to make sure it's someone who's on your level though, considering a man like Justin is too far out of your lane. But I think there are men out there that are just as fat and ugly as you are who'd be happy to have you. There will always be men in this world who are both disgusting on the inside and outside, and they would be perfect for you. After that, Judy continued to apologize to her husband looking for forgiveness, but that was never ever going to come from him, so she ended up stopping. This, however, didn't lead to her leaving his house for a little while, and so Justin was still not able to come back to his house. But soon after the messages and calls to Justin stopped, things only became worse for Judy as she continued to sit in that house of his. After being a bit concerned with the fact that his wife was okay with her son being led into cheating on his son's wife, Justin went and took a further look into Judy and found that she had cheated on him. The investigation gave him a lot of evidence surrounding her cheating, and that made for a great settlement that his lawyer would take care of for him. After all of the planning had been made for the downfall of Judy, Justin went and had his lawyer tell Judy that she needed to pay a settlement in the divorce for cheating, and that they had all the evidence they needed in order to prove her unfaithfulness. Justin wasn't there at the time this was told to her, but the lawyer told us that when he brought her cheating up, she broke down and started to tear chunks of carpet out with her hands as she screamed and cried. The lawyer wasn't going to have it though, so before leaving Justin's house, he had 2 officers come in and drag her out into the yard. They put her in the back of their police cruiser once they got her to stand up, and took her to their office to tell her the same thing the lawyer did about how the divorce would take place and that she owed a settlement. And once all the explanations were over with, they told her to have a nice day and sent her onto the streets to start her new life. But because she never worked a job in her life and solely relied on money Justin had, she didn't have a penny to her name. She wasn't able to pay anything to Justin in the divorce, but as a way of making sure she'd get that money to him eventually, Justin went and got her the cheapest apartment he could find on the market. As he told us, the reason he went and gave her a place to live was because there was no way of getting money or regrets from a dead man. Right now, she is living there with the very small amount of Social Security she gets every month, having to give half of that to Justin and the other half to her landlord to pay her rent. Since that takes away pretty much all she gets in terms of money, she was never able to get any furniture and is having to sleep on an old mattress that was in the trash bin. For food, she gets about $20 a month to use, and that allows her to buy 1 large box of instant noodles that she can only eat 1 of per day. We all thought that Judy would try to run back to the man she was cheating on Justin with, but he was in just as bad of a place as she was in, and things were only going to get worse for him. Before long, after Justin had threatened him to pay a settlement as well, that man vanished off the face of the earth and was never heard from again. To this day, we don't know what happened to him, and Justin tells us every time we ask that he has still not gotten the money he asked for. After having lost pretty much everything in her life, Judy now lives in that rundown apartment as a recluse, never to be seen by anyone that lives around her. When it comes to my family, we have all been living very busy lives. After everything that had happened with Judy had come to an end, we asked if Justin would like to move in with us and sell his old house. He agreed with us and soon moved in to start his new life with his son, daughter-in-law, and infant grandbaby. He went and sold the house he had and got rid of all the memories he had with Judy before he came to us and handed the money he had gotten from said house to his son. Justin told him to put that money into a savings account for our daughter so that she could one day use it for her dreams. These days, they all have loads of fun playing around in the house with my daughter, and both Justin and my husband have begun to work harder in order to make more money for her future. And in order for my husband to one day take the company from Justin, he has started to work closer with him, studying what he has to do as a CEO. Every day, Justin is letting us know that it's because of our daughter that he was able to get rid of that old parasite that was weighing him down so much. He still has regrets about ever marrying that woman, but he likes to say that if it wasn't for her, he would have never had us. I love to see my family as the most important thing to me, as they see me as important to themselves, and seeing us all gathered around to raise my daughter in a warm household will always bring a tear to my eye. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Anika, before I get home this afternoon, I'd like you to have the whole house cleaned up. I noticed that in the bathtub there was some mold forming as well. So I'd like for you to have that all bleached and ready to go as well by the time I'm home.
Sorry about that. I'll make sure to get all that mold out of there today. But I'm sure if I clean right now, things will only start to get dirty again.
Why would that happen?
Well, the kids are playing a lot during the day and it'll lead to things getting all messy again. No matter how often I clean up after them, things just go back to being messy again within an hour.
And cleaning all of that mess up is your job, right?
I can clean all I want, but things aren't going to change just from me cleaning. The moment I clean, things just become a mess again.
Then how about you tell the kids to stop making such a mess all the time? You're being too kind to those two. Kay is 5 years old now, and Kyle is 3, right? They're at the age now where you can tell them to stop making a mess and they'll understand that.
I understand that they're both getting older. Kay might listen to me, but a 3-year-old like Kyle most definitely will not. The moment I try telling him to stop doing something, he'll think that I'm just being loud and won't understand that all I want is to keep things tidy is all.
Well, if you make him cry, then I'm sure he'll listen to you then. I think you're being too kind to those two when you need to be putting your foot down. You and I are their parents. You yell at them to do the right things, and if they don't listen to you, then you ground them.
I can't just go and yell at them like that. There are times where they might even start to cry over things like that outside.
Well, you can't be worried about that. You just need to ignore all their whining and crying and let them learn that we will not be swayed by it. And who cares if they want to cry outside?
I just don't want other people thinking anything's wrong here. And leaving our kids outside crying like that isn't a good look for either of us as parents. The number one worst thing you can do to a child is both yell at them and then ignore how they react to that.
Kyle is only 3 years old. He won't care that you're ignoring him after being yelled at. He'll forget about it all later.
This isn't about him forgetting it all or not. He has a heart, and so does Kay.
Well, if you're gonna keep acting like you have no way of putting them in line, then you're just gonna have to deal with them both doing as they please around you. I just want to make sure you have the house clean by the time I'm home. I'm tired after having to work every day of the week. Yet recently, there have been plenty of days where I have to come home to a dirty house, and there not being any food on the table yet. If you don't start to get all those things done, then I'm gonna get really upset.
I'm sorry.
All the wives around me seem to be doing everything properly. I was shown by one of my coworkers the room that his wife has cleaned up for him in his house. Their place looks amazing and beautiful every day that he gets home from work. I'm talking about Carson's wife, by the way. They happen to have a kid and a cat as well, yet the house is amazingly well kept. Isn't that wonderful? Yet look at the house I have. 2 kids always making messes, and you never being around to clean any of it up on time. I have no idea why you can't do even the most simple of things like those other wives can.
I am trying my best right now.
And you trying your best is only worth half of what a wife can normally do. What the hell are you doing all day? I mean, you're at the house all day long, aren't you? I bet you just sit around and nap all day, right?
I'm not. I'm trying my hardest over here to keep this place in check.
Then this must mean you're just not cut out to be a housewife like the rest of the women in this town. Ugh. I wish I would have found myself a better woman to marry.
Please don't say something like that. Right now, I have Kay going to preschool for half the day, and come next year, I can get both her and Kyle to go. As of right now, having kids in the house and a list of chores as big as long as you've asked me for, it's not always easy handling both of these things at the same time.
And I'm telling you that all those other wives are doing it. How many times are you going to have me say this? You really are no good. Well, whatever. My break is almost over now, so there's nothing left that I can say now. I just want the house cleaned up today by the time I get home. If you can't do that for me today, then you really will no longer be considered a human in my house.
Baylor? Since when did you leave the house? If you're going to leave the house, please let me know. I was going to ask that you take care of the kids for a little bit today.
Huh? I had the day off work today.
Well, I understand that. Hence why I wanted you to take care of them for me today. Since when was the last time you took them to play with them? That's why I was talking with you about how on your next day off, you should take them somewhere to go and play with you, right?
That was something you were hoping for. I never said I cared about it. Stop trying to make everything about you, all right? I happen to have plans of my own going on.
I was never going to ask you to take any of the chores, but you should at least be helping me out with the kids, Baylor. I think that these past few months you haven't been doing a good enough job of being their father.
The reason for that is because both the chores and taking care of the kids is the housewife's job, right? Who is it that's allowing you to live at such a nice life again?
I am very thankful that you're making the money that allows our family to live happily. But it's not just because of you that we all get to have this life, right? I've been the one doing all the chores and taking care of our kids, and that's led us all being happy and healthy as well. You're not thankful for any of that?
What are you going on about? In this world, you are worth nothing to those of us that actually contribute something to society.
You're saying I'm worth nothing to you then?
That's right. What the hell has a housewife like you done? You think by just sitting around the house all day, you're making money?
I happen to think that being a housewife is a very important job. We don't get to take breaks and work 24/7 to make sure everything around the house is going well.
You really think that's a good enough reason for being deemed important? But look, you do get breaks, right? You're sleeping at night, and you have time during the day to just sit around. I would really like you to stop comparing yourself to those of us that actually have to work our butts off in the real world, okay?
But when I go to sleep, there are always times that I need to wake up and tend to whatever the kids want from us.
You're sleeping perfectly fine, Anika. So tell me, what was that again? You have to wake up at night to help the kids? I don't think an excuse like that is gonna cut it for someone who doesn't work. To everyone looking at you from the outside, your hard work is nothing more than child's play.
You really don't have to talk about what I do like that.
If I don't tell you how it is, then you'll never understand. Listen, if you actually want me to listen to you, then get a job and make some money for once. Show me that you're not a total waste of my time.
I'm already having to care for our kids all by myself, Baylor. How am I supposed to get a job when I have to care for them? If I find a job, then I'll need someone to watch after Kyle for part of the day. Can't you understand that right now I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place?
Well, if you're stuck, then you shut up and do as you've been told. Take care of the chores of the kids. That's all you're good for. You don't want me having to throw you out of this house, right? You wouldn't want to have to take those two with you and give them a life of poverty, right?
You're telling me that you'd throw both our kids out along with me.
Well, if you want to leave, I don't see why they wouldn't go along with you. Honestly, getting rid of the three of you would make me very lucky.
I see. You really have changed from the Baylor I once knew. Or perhaps this is how you've always been and I was just blinded by love.
What are you talking about now? This is all because you keep running your mouth about things you have no idea about, right? If you just shut up and do what you're supposed to do, then I'd never complain.
All right. I won't bother you about anything else now.
Doing that for me would be a huge help. I'm the one that's using my time and energy to keep you three around, after all. And that also means I don't want you forgetting that I could throw you three away whenever I'd like.
Baylor, I'm taking the kids with me and leaving, and we will not be coming back here.
Huh? You're all leaving? What are you talking about?
I cannot live with you any longer. You never do any of the chores or care for our kids, and you just go out and do whatever you like instead. And when the house is just a little bit messy, you throw a fit like the rest of the world is going to end because of it. If you are so upset by the house being messy, then you help clean it up instead of being a witch all the time.
Taking care of the house is your job, though, right? I'm not making you do everything there. You just hate having to work is all.
I did not marry you to become your slave, Baylor. I don't need a husband like you, and the kids don't need a father like you. I really think that after today, you'll find a way to fix the monster you've become. I want you to learn just how nice of a wife I was for you after I'm gone.
You? Why are you throwing a fit now? Don't think that a woman like you with no merit can start speaking her mind like that. It's your job to take care of the kids and the house. You're a housewife, after all. You can start to complain when you get a job, you idiot.
I am working, and that's why I've been complaining. So would you stop being a frickin' dick to me now? I have been working a job for months now, Baylor. When you started to call me useless and all that, I went and found myself a job. You told me you'd never listen to me unless I had myself a job, and so that's what I did.
There's no way you're working a job right now. You told me because you have Kyle in the house half the day, you can't go out to work, right?
I did say that, and that's why I got myself a job working remotely. Of course, I can't care for Kyle all the time while working, so I have my mom come during the day to help out.
I never heard anything about this!
That's because I never told you.
What the hell are you doing hiding things like that from me? Why did you decide to get a job without asking? What do you think you're doing running away from my support?
I want to get away from relying on you, and that's why I got this job. I want to get a divorce from you.
A divorce? What kind of bullcrap is that? You think because you work remotely now you can take care of two kids on your own? I'm sure you're just making pocket change with that kind of job, right?
Not at all. Right now, I'm making $2,500 a month with this work. That's enough to get you to shut up, right? Of course, there will also be the child support coming from you for these two every month as well. I will be going back to my parents' house for a while, so by having them help me out, I'll have even more time to work and will be making even more money.
Hey, are you really working right now?
That's what I've been telling you. I don't need you to take care of me anymore. I'm taking the kids and leaving this hell. You're not going to complain about that though, right? You said that by having the three of us leave, you'd be lucky, right?
Wait, I'll come home early today. We could take a moment to talk about all of this in person.
You want to talk about things now after learning that this divorce is going to happen? Talking this all over isn't going to change things for you now. I'm going back to my parents' house now. I want out of this place as soon as freaking possible, all right? So give it up and be happy with the luck you had today.
Anika, wait! I'll come home right now. I'm asking you to please wait for me!
Baylor, have you finished signing all that paperwork for me? I have a lot of things to do myself after you're done, so would you please hurry that up and hand it in for me?
Anika, are you really not coming back here?
I asked if you signed those papers or not, Baylor. If you don't get that taken care of soon, I'll have this brought to the courthouse and let my lawyer handle you instead. Is that what you want? That'll all be a lot more trouble for you than it's worth. After all, you were so lucky to have this happen to you.
Anika, please come back. I've made some mistakes.
Too late for that crap, mister. How many years was it that you had me doing all the chores in the house and taking care of both kids on my own? You never once came home to do anything with them for me. And when you found even the tiniest speck of food on the ground or a toy too far away from the kids' play area, you flipped out. And those last few weeks, you went off on me about how I'm nothing to this society and I'm useless.
I want to take all that back. I know now that it's because you were there for me that I got to live a happy life. I was taking advantage of you.
You sure as hell were, you bastard. Always leaving your socks on the floor, and you would never clean up your dishes after you ate. After shaving, you just leave the sink a mess, and after blowing your nose, you just leave your tissue on the counter. You'd make me pay for all the cleaning supplies, and when you were done in the shower, you just leave your towel and dirty clothing on the floor. Which is screwed up considering even the 3-year-old knows how to put his clothing in the laundry hamper for me after a bath. You were the one making your own dang house a mess that whole time.
Come home to me already. This past week, nobody's been home to clean for me, and my allergies have gone wild.
Then clean the freaking place yourself, asshole.
But I'm tired when I get home from work. After eating something for dinner, I don't have any time.
Well, everyone I know who lives on their own is able to clean up their own place after working. Oh, that's right. You never lived on your own because you never left your parents' house, did you? You had your mom do everything for you because you were useless.
This place is a mess, and all I've been eating is TV dinner, so my stomach is a mess as well. I'm starting to feel like I'm getting a cold now, too.
Good. And what do you want me to do about all that? You're an adult now, so you handle that yourself. I can't believe your whole life is crashing down around you now, considering nothing ever changed in your life. I mean, I'm worthless to this world, so me leaving with the kids shouldn't have affected you this badly, right?
Please don't pick on me like that now. From now on, I'll work on being a better husband. I'll help with all the chores and raising the kids. So would you please just come home?
Helping with the chores is one thing, but the fact that you're offering to help me raise your dang kids really pisses me off. You were the one that got me pregnant with them. But who cares about all that anyway now? It's not like you were helping out with them would benefit me any. Do you even know how to play with kids?
I do. I can help with them. As long as you teach me what to do, I'll do it.
You need me to teach you how to raise your own kids? Are you not even able to make up games to play with them in your own head? You want to know how I handle all this when I didn't know what to do? I used technology and I looked it all up. You seem to even be more stupid than a housewife like me was.
Don't say things like that.
You said crap like that to me, you frickin' asshole. You're an idiot.
I'm sorry.
Bull. You never did a frickin' thing for this family besides work a 9 to 5, and yet you were the only one allowed to talk. I can't believe I made it as far as I did with you without ever taking you off the face of this planet. It would have been one thing had I just had to do all the chores, but I was tasked with doing all the chores and raising 2 kids all day and night. Do you have any idea how tough that all was?
I never thought doing chores could be that difficult. I had no other choice at the time, right? I had never lived on my own before, so I never had to clean myself.
Don't you freaking dare use that as an excuse. I have been asking you forever to help me out, and yet you never once listened to me and came to my aid.
Because I didn't think you were really being that serious then.
I'm kind of glad you never knew how to do anything at home. Had you known how hard things like chores were, you might have started to thank me for my work and I would have only tried harder. But you just assumed that it was my job to do everything in the house for you. And when one thing was out of line, you went haywire, right?
I had just been wanting you to try a little harder at the time.
I was trying my hardest, dang it! But even with all my effort, you still felt as though you could treat me like a slave and compare me to all those other families who were doing better than us. It made me sad the way you compared me to all of them. I was trying my hardest in order to make both you and the kids happy. Yet you told me I was useless and didn't even mean anything to you.
I'm so sorry about that.
Stop freaking apologizing to me, you idiot! You're supposed to be happy about me taking the kids and leaving you.
I finally started to understand how hard you work for me. Yet, even though I'm now starting to realize your importance to me, you want a divorce? That's so hurtful of you.
Huh? Shut the hell up, you big hypocrite! You said that you would be lucky if I took the kids and left you, so here you freaking go. And I'm not coming back to you now because that would only make you upset again.
I only said that because I was a little pissed off at the time. That wasn't really what I wanted to say.
Whether it was what you wanted to say or not, you hurt me really badly then. You made me think to myself just how stupid I've been for staying married to you and working my life away to try to make you happy. After all the crap you've put me through, don't expect me to ever come back to you ever again.
Anika, I'm really sorry.
Stop it!
I'll change though. I'll become a good husband and a good father. I won't make you take care of everything on your own anymore.
Those words. You told me all those things back when I just had Kay.
What? No way. I really mean all of this now. Starting now, I'm never going to break this promise to you.
Stop, Baylor. You really have my blood boiling now. I don't care that you want me back now. You're only putting on that sad, pouty face in order to get me to come home to you because you know you can't take care of yourself without me. I told you I wouldn't bother you with anything anymore, right? All those apologies, those fake promises to me, they're all garbage. I would never live with a monster like you again, Baylor. I'm cutting ties with your useless ass, and it's going to make the kids and I feel so much happier. A few days after that, Baylor finally gave up trying to get me to come back home to him, and he signed all the divorce papers. He then went and handed it all into the courthouse, and the hell-filled relationship I had with him was over with. Of course, to the kids, he's still going to be their father, but they'll never have to live with a man-child like that again and are safe in my home. After the divorce, Baylor left that pigsty he made for himself and went back to his parents' house. But both of his parents heard about the reason why the divorce had taken place, so the moment he walked into their house, his mom told him to get lost. After that, his mom called me over the phone and apologized for all that her son had done, but I told her to stop all of that. Had she raised her son right and either made him responsible for his chores or kicked him out to live on his own, none of this would have happened to me. But it doesn't really matter to me now what happened in his life, as him and I are no longer married to one another. I've heard that recently, due to the terrible state of the house he's living in, Baylor's allergies have gotten worse and he's no longer able to go anywhere besides work in the house. I ended up getting many texts from him after the divorce about how he was sorry again and he was lonely without me and the kids, so I blocked him and got on with my life of being a mother. I don't give a crap what happens to my ex, just as long as he's able to keep paying child support to me for the next 15 years. That's the only thing I want from him now. Besides that, there will never be another instance of him and I sharing the same moment or anything together. When things come to myself in life after returning to my parents' house with the kids, I went and got myself a new job. Being a remote worker has its ups, but it also has plenty of downs, so I wanted to find a job that was a little more reliable. Right now, the job I found happens to understand the troubles of being a mother quite a lot, so I'm able to be at work as often as I can, while also having the freedom to head home at any moment for the kids. Luckily, with the support of my parents, though, I don't have to do any of that all too often. I am sure there will be plenty of difficult things to come for my family and I, but thankfully those next times will not include a jerk like Baylor. From now on, I'm going to do all that I can to make a home in which both my very important kids and my loving and supportive parents will all be happy, and I don't have to be as stressed as I was before.
Peter, this is about Sky and what I think she should be learning. Do you think that you and I can talk about it one more time?
Huh? Why?
Well, she's only 3 years old, and right now there are 3 things she's learning about, right? I don't think we should be trying to teach her many more things right now because she's still so young, so I wanted to rethink the plan. It doesn't even look like she's having any fun learning right now as it is.
I told you this before, we need to teach her sooner rather than later. Back when I was around her age, I was learning about all sorts of things, and that's the reason why I'm currently working for a very amazing company.
And I'm sure that's the case for you. But I don't think it's good to force her to do things that she's obviously not liking at the moment. She's already told me before that she doesn't like going to learn piano. I think we should let up a little bit on this whole teaching her everything so soon in life thing.
I'm sure that within no time her attitude will change regarding piano. She's just 3 years old after all, and she's got a lot of time to start enjoying it. So stop getting all worked up over it, okay? Also, you're supposed to be the one in charge of caring for her if she's feeling bad, since you're her mother after all.
But it's not just her saying she doesn't want to go because she doesn't feel like it. I don't think she likes being forced to go.
Would you please just throw that spoiled view that you have about everything away? Sky is not you. I get that you're both girls, but she'll also have my genes, so she'll be alright.
Don't say that.
I'm just being honest. We were supposed to be having a boy anyway. Then they would have been completely like me, and then we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. But instead, you kept on telling my mom that it might be a girl, and for a while my mom didn't even want to see you for that.
Well, at the time, Sky was still in my belly, so there was no telling if she was a boy or girl without an ultrasound. And when we did go and get that ultrasound, the doctor told us that Sky was a girl, so I don't understand why your mom continued to say she was a boy that whole time. Anyway, we don't need to talk about what happened then anymore. What I want to focus on here is not forcing Sky to do things she doesn't enjoy. She happens to like drawing pictures and making things with her hands.
Are you trying to tell me that any of those things will lead to anything in our future? Oh man, don't tell me that you want her to start learning about drawing and painting pictures more now. I will not have any kid of mine make a fool out of themselves when their older selves are trying to make a career drawing stupid pictures.
Then why are you having her learn to play the piano? Playing an instrument is another form of art.
Listen to me, if a woman does not learn how to play the piano, then they're a failure from the start. All my female coworkers all know how to play the piano, and even you can play the piano, right?
And that's because I play the piano for my class at school.
Look, it can be plenty useful when it comes to work.
And when it comes to drawing and making crafts, those two things can also be useful when it comes to work. Sky is still very young, and who knows what kind of potential she has. I think forcing her to do the things we want her to do is not the best course of action right now.
She's 3 years old, okay? She is not worried about the things that you're all scared of.
I think she is, though. And very soon here, she's going to be 4.
Who cares? She's so young right now. That by the time she's an adult, she'll just forget about ever feeling upset or scared.
I'm sure she won't remember all the feelings she's having right now. But I don't want her only memories from this point in time to be those of sadness and discomfort.
You really do sound like a preschooler right now. You don't have to be so sensitive about these things, so just give it a break.
Don't make fun of me. I am being serious about all of this. Also, Peter, when it comes to the way you treat Sky, you're very strict. When she acts a little bit differently from what you want, you ask her to take a time out in the closet. And when I'm not looking, you yell at her, don't you?
It's her fault for not listening to me.
I'm not sure how many more times I need to say this, but Sky is only 3 years old.
Well, my mom is getting on me now about having her try to start learning everything, so I'm not gonna let her quit piano class or anything else. Now would you please stop taking away my time with all this boring crap?
This is not boring crap. I understand that she is still very childish, so we don't have to be all that worried yet. But even kids have a mind of their own and a will.
Right now, I'm going back to work. If you still have complaints about what I'm doing, then you bring me some evidence stating that my way of raising Sky is not good enough for you and her. And then you'll get all the proof printed out for me and place it in a big folder, and I'll have a look later, I guess. I'm gonna be late today.
All right.
By the way, my mom was pissed. From what she told me, you were slacking off with the cleaning today, weren't you?
Sky hasn't been feeling too well today.
Well, it's not like she has a fever or anything. You should have just left her with my mom.
I don't really want to say this, but I don't think Sky really likes your mom. She always yells at her about every little thing. And at times she'll start making fun of Sky and call her an idiot.
That's because you're not disciplining Sky enough. All you have to do is keep your daughter in line, and then we'll stop having to yell at her all the time.
All Sky was doing one time was running around in the yard, and your mom yelled at her. She yelled at her saying women don't run and that women shouldn't be laughing so loudly. I think your mom is being way too strict with her. It's like your mom is still living in the early 1900s or something. The way she's yelling at our daughter to act like she has to be this perfect woman and that she can't do things boys her age do?
My mom happens to be old, so we have to be respectful of that. Also, my mom happens to be in the flower arranging and tea parties, so she's a very ladylike woman.
I think your mom should really be getting herself someone that can help her. Have you guys even been telling your dad about the fact that I'm going over there to clean? Before this, your mom was going all crazy in front of your dad about how I had to go home one time to take care of Sky. Does she realize that as Sky continues to get older, I'm going to have to be home more often? It's already becoming a bit difficult for me to be over there cleaning all the time.
My mom just happens to have her own way of thinking. All she's been trying to do is retrain you so that you'll be a better woman and a better wife for me. All because you were never raised very properly to begin with.
Never raised properly to begin with?
Look, both your parents happen to be low-life scum, right? I get that you were able to make it into college, but they never raised you all the way that women should be raised. I suppose that has to do with them never going to any universities themselves and not working any jobs.
Huh? Is that what you've thought of them?
What? You actually thought that you were raised properly this whole time?
I've never thought about the way I was raised. I've just respected my parents for who they are and have always thought I had a fun and energetic childhood.
Oh, dang. Everyone around you was the same level as you mentally, so you never knew. Well, in my case, both my parents are from Harvard, and my dad happens to work for the same kind of large and powerful company that I do. Sorry about that. To some lowlife like you, all of this is just way too high level for you, huh?
You really are a dick, Peter.
You think of me as just one because you're such a lowlife yourself, right? That's all. Now, all I want is for you and the brat to listen to my mom and I, that's all. Or would you rather have me throw you both away?
Do you think I'd never choose to divorce you?
A brainless wife like you would never be able to choose divorce if you knew what was good for yourself. Do you really want to make your life harder by becoming a single mother? You already got a nice house right now. All you gotta do is clean and take care of the girl the right way.
I'm done with you. I'm not going to think about you anymore.
Go right ahead. I would rather you not think about me. All you need to do is take care of the brat and do the chores for myself and the parents. If you do those things, then I won't complain.
Peter, Sky and I are leaving your house.
Huh? Leaving my house? What are you talking about?
I'm saying we're getting a divorce.
Is this all because my mom has been getting on you about how you're raising our daughter again? I asked her to do that. I said, light a fire under Alicia's butt for me, would ya?
So that's why she came over to the house. But this isn't just because of your mom. This has to do with you being a constant dick as well.
And that's why you want a divorce now? You really are such a moron. Have you ever been thinking about how you're gonna live after you leave me?
I have thought about it, and that's why this divorce is happening.
Oh, is that so? Then you leave Sky here and go?
You wouldn't be able to take care of her yourself. All you'd do is talk to her every so often, and outside of that, the rest of the time you'd be yelling at her. You have no idea how to raise a child. You haven't been doing it with her so far.
Oh, I would just feel terrible for her staying in the house while you take all your things and leave her here with such depressing memories. So that's why my mom will take her.
And another reason why I want this divorce is because I don't want Sky being raised by you or your mom. All you guys do is yell, 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 trying to scare her into doing what you guys want. I have asked you many times before to stop all of that, yet you guys never listened to me. Just recently, when she wasn't able to finish all of her food, you pulled her hair out in anger.
Well, it's not like she got hurt by that. Don't you think it's her fault for acting out of line in the first place?
When it comes to kids, they are allowed to be a little out of line at that age. And this isn't about her having been hurt by that or not, because having one's hair pulled out sure as hell does hurt.
Shut up. If you want a divorce, then be my guest. But I happen to be that brat's father, so I am not giving up my custody of her. I'm the one who gets to decide how she's raised and what she learns. A low-life, no-good idiot woman like you doesn't get a say in any of that.
You guys are the low-life jackasses. Do you not even know your own parents?
Huh? Jackasses? You're the jackass, being born from two parents that resemble trash cans.
Then that makes you and your parents worse than trash, right? You're not even your dad's real child. You were born from some parasitic woman who manipulated him.
You're telling me that I'm not my dad's kid? What are you going on about now?
While I've been over at your parents' house every week cleaning it for them, I found your birth certificate. It was written right there. Your mom is really your mom, but your dad? I don't think so.
Stop trying to make up such weak lies to me.
I'm not lying, Peter. If you really want to believe that what I'm saying right now is a lie, then go and check with your mom about it really quick. I've already handed that birth certificate of yours to your dad.
Alicia, come to my parents' house right now. You come here right now and tell my dad that my mom never cheated on him, okay?
I have no reason to go there anymore.
If you don't come here and fix this for us right now, my parents are gonna get a divorce.
I don't care about that. Your parents have nothing to do with me. Right now, I want you to be thinking about this divorce. When are we going to meet and talk about the divorce in person?
Are you being serious right now?
You think I'd be lying about all of this? I am very serious.
I can't think about our divorce right now, okay? I'm starting to hear about how I might be the child of a man my mom cheated on my dad with.
Well, it sucks that you so happen to be a bastard child then. But that's just how things are now, right? You saw the paperwork.
But this can't be.
Then go get some DNA tests done. Then you'll be given the most clear answer in the results.
Dad already said that he's gonna look into it.
I'm sure. He was already a bit suspicious of your mom cheating on him back in the day. When they had first gotten married, they would get into fights about it. That's what he was telling me anyway. Your so-called dad. Now, remember how you were calling my parents jackasses? Who do you think has the real jackass parents now?
I won't say anything about how Sky is raised now, okay? You can raise her any way you want.
And?
I just want you to come back, and then I want you to go and tell my dad that you fabricated all my birth certificate and stuff and that it was all a lie. And then my dad would stop fighting with my mom over this, and then they can all stay together.
If your dad would be able to trust such an obvious lie like that from me, then he shouldn't be thinking about divorce right now. I think your dad has been thinking about all of this for a while now, and this is his perfect chance.
I get that, but I don't want things to end like that.
I don't care how you feel about them, and I'm sure he feels the same way. Another thing, I didn't choose to get this divorce over you wanting to raise Sky like your slave alone. Of course, the number one reason is making sure that she is raised with respect to herself. But you making fun of my parents by calling them lowlifes and the way you have handled things between your mom and I are also reasons why I want this divorce. You can say that I'm allowed to raise Sky however I'd like now, but I am not going back to you.
But up until now, we've all been living so well together, right?
I wouldn't call that living well. That was just Sky and I putting up with your moms and your crap this whole time. But we're not doing that anymore.
Dad just told me that I'm the kid of the mailman that always used to come to this house. I don't want to be known as that dude's kid.
So you're still going on about your parents' situation? All right then. Tell me what's so bad about being the son of a mailman. That's a pretty good job if you ask me.
I cannot be compared to such a lowlife. I am not his kid. You actually think I'm gonna believe that a guy that's like that has DNA inside of me?
Nobody really cares whether you like the truth or not right now. And here's the thing, I am really sick and tired of you talking about people like him in that way. Before you and I got married, you never spoke about others that way. But the moment you and I became husband and wife, you started judging people based on their jobs and who their parents are. And I'm sure you've been aware of just how rude some of the things you've said have been, right?
Well, after you married me and you became a part of this family, you know? I would never talk with you about things like that when you were just a girlfriend, so stop nitpicking me already.
From what I've seen, you deserve to be nitpicked. And honestly, I think it's your turn to be judged. I'm sure it's all fun and games making fun of other people and their parents. But how does it feel to be made fun of yourself when your mom is a cheating whore and you're a bastard child? Next time you want to try and judge other people's parents like that and make fun of them, think about who your parents are first.
Alicia, just come back here for the time being. My mom wants to apologize to you even, please.
Have you been listening to me, Peter? I already said that you and I are getting divorced. So why the hell would I listen to what you want me to do anymore?
No, I don't want a divorce.
Well, it's too late. I'm getting the divorce whether you like it or not. Even if it takes me months, even if I need to take this to court, I'm divorcing you.
Don't make me look bad like this.
You don't want to look bad? Well, if you don't want that, then perhaps you should have done a better job making yourself look decent. I'm really happy that I'm finally on my way out of this relationship to you.
Up until now, I've been living such a good life. If a divorce happens, all the people are gonna start thinking that something happened. They'll all want to know about it. I don't want to live with being divorced.
Oh, come on now, Peter. You're making a big deal out of something most people don't care about. But I'm sure this means a huge deal to you, considering you like to make fun of other people and their parents all the time. You finally come around to realizing that you were the one raised improperly by two low-life parents. From there, Peter went and had a DNA test done on himself, and it was proven that his dad, sure enough, was not his real father. I thought it was already clear that he wasn't that man's son, but to Peter, that birth certificate wasn't enough, and he had to go that extra mile to make himself upset. Because of what was found out, Peter's dad ended up cutting ties to both his mom and him and leaving the house for good. This then led to the two getting a divorce, and once again, Peter was left having to focus on the divorce with me. We talked one more time about it, but having learned that he really was a bastard child, he had given up on himself and told me we could indeed get the divorce. I'm not really sure what ended up shocking him the most. Was it the fact that he learned that the man he had always bragged about being the son of wasn't really his father? Or was it that the wife he had always picked on finally divorced him? Well, whichever one it was, he sure has no strength to stand up for himself anymore, and went along with everything I wanted in the divorce. Perhaps he gave me full custody of Sky in the end because his parents were divorced now and they wouldn't be able to watch her for him. I never told this to Peter, but in my eyes, there is nothing wrong with him being the child of that mailman. And the fact that he called the man that was fooled into raising him his dad was not his fault and was totally warranted. But Peter probably doesn't care what I think about it all now because his parents are divorced and there's no going back. I just hope he doesn't take this so poorly for so long, as he's really too old to be worrying about what's happening to his mom and dad's relationship. He's out of their house now, and what they fight over has nothing to do with him whatsoever. But I suppose when you base your whole personality off of picking on others and on your parents being these two upstanding people, it must really hurt to know the truth. I'm not sure how he's going to go about living his life now in such pain, but I don't really care. As long as he continues to pay the child support, then I'm not going to complain. I think things will go fine for Sky and I, as long as he doesn't bother us about anything besides giving us money ever again. When it comes to myself, I have taken Sky and moved back into my parents' house. In order to bring in more money for my daughter and I've begun working more days each week as a teacher, which has led to me not being around my daughter as much. But because both my parents are still home to be around and care for her, she's able to live a fun and happy life. It's really starting to feel as though things are looking bright again for us. Seeing that life can be this good for us now really makes me regret not taking Sky away from that life with her fear-inducing grandma and dad a lot sooner. I understand that I'm not the perfect mother or anything, but I'm going to try my hardest to create an environment which inspires growth and learning for Sky, instead of one that only asks for one to listen and obey without ever thinking. I'm only thinking about my daughter and her smile from now on, and that's how I'm going to go about raising her. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.